Hello and welcome to Furious Tea Break. This is the side channel to Furious Driving, where we meander about on other little things that don't quite fit on the main channel. For example, junk in the trunk. If you've got anything to send into the channel for chatting about stuff on camera, bung it into junk in the trunk, PO box below, and randomly talk about other things which I haven't really had time to talk about enough recently, but today I'm going to. And right now I am quite literally waiting for paint to dry. The Unos is on ramps with paint drying underneath it right now, so you might be seeing that video before this, after this. You knew it's coming though, I've got on to seal the thing. But what I'm talking about right now is this thing. I wasn't going to make a video about the carport because it's just a thing that happened, but a lot of people commented on it and it seems to be quite a big development in Furious land. So let's have a little chat about what we've done. We've done that. So what this is the obvious solution to keeping cars dry and me dry as well, so I can work on things through the winter time. So the cars like the Rover P6s, the Mercedes W123 potentially, the Volvo, the MX-5 with the convertible roof can live under here when the snow comes, when the rain comes and the storms come. They're going to, at least 2 cars are going to be protected. That means 3 cars at home are under cover, and I've got options for working and keeping on filming all through the year, because in the summertime when it's deadly hot and I can't breathe out here in the heat, I can go under here in the shade, I can weld, I can paint, I can do all kinds of other stuff. When it's winter time, when there's just, like today, when the rain is just coming down incessantly, I can get underneath there and I can work in there. So fantastic working environment, which is absolutely brilliant for both storage and for work. So very, very impressed at this. So how did we do it? So of course the biggest thanks to say is to my dad, who spent an entire day out here in the freezing cold, in the rain, the biting wind and actual snow at one point, here with me doing this. I nearly filmed it, but in the end, just me and my dad did it together, and it was a lot of work to get done relatively quickly because I always have to pick my son up about 2:30 in the afternoon, which gives us very, very short working days. So this area here, I'd say it's the obvious place to build one because we've got the garage wall on one side to spur off, so it's a lean-to effectively. On the right hand side we've got this fence, so we've got 2 walls. It's just really putting a roof across the top, so easy peasy you might think. The size of it, 4.8 meters wide, 4.8 meters long, so it's big enough for most cars. Not quite big enough for the Crown Victoria, that would just overhang a tiny bit. If I push the P6 all the way back, it would be all the way under. I could perhaps put a little crest on the front just to keep things dry. So when that fence came down a little while ago, the posts had rotted out, I asked the fence man to come and put extra long, extra strong posts. So these 3 side posts are bedded in properly, foundation deep, a couple of feet down, and were stretched right up higher than the shed. So we've got lots of room to work with. So relatively easy to do in terms of saying it out loud. Putting stuff in the sky a little bit harder. So all this took to create is 4 of these large boards, which are 5 centimeters by 20 centimeters I think, and then 10 of these smaller rafters which are 5 by 10 centimeters, and then we want 20 of the hangers and some coach bolts and some big screws. So first thing of course, we needed to make an incline so the rain doesn't sit on top and snow and things will slide off the back rather than just putting lots of weight straight down through the roof. So we run it about, it's meant to be 15 degrees it says on the guides, but that meant it would have been about as high as the house at the front and hitting the ground at the back. So we've gone for a smaller incline than that, but it still looks quite steep to me. And we used a pair of coach bolts in each of the 3 uprights to bolt through sideways for one big full length down the side of the carport, and then on top of that we've put one horizontally so that we can share the load of these beams and the roof and everything else into those trusses. So it's putting some of it directly into the top of the posts, some of it into the side of the posts. It's just sharing the load, and it makes it look a bit nicer as well, it makes it look solid. Over on this side, relatively easy in terms of ideas. We've used bolts through the double skin brick wall of the garage down to the back, but those are double skin things, they don't make coach bolts that long, so we had to go and buy lengths of threaded bar, cut it off at 33 centimeters long because it comes in a meter, thread it through and bolt at either end, so we've got it bolted to the wall. Can't go wrong. And then for a finishing touch, another one of the big 5 by 20s bolted across the front, and these bolts up here, they're about that long, they're green weatherproofed, and they've got 8mm nuts on the front so you can whack them in nice and tight, come with an impact wrench nice and quick and tight. And then the easy bit, just every 40 centimeters to spread the snow load, because you've got to be aware of the weight coming in the top in the winter time. That's when it's going to get you. Every 40 centimeters I think it is, give or take, we've put one of these runners across. So just screw it into the hangers at either end. So that's all nice and solid, and that is the carport done. In terms of legality and planning commission, I don't want to be infringing any planning rules and put it up and then get taken down again. So the main thing is it's temporary structure because it's all just wood stuff that's bolted down. It's not like a permanent thing. It could come down in a matter of minutes if you wanted it to. And it's not too high. I mean, it's actually lower than the shed. Talking from memory, not from facts. I forget how tall we actually made it at the top, but it's about a good foot underneath the actual allowed level for temporary structure. So we're fine there. All good. Now we've got the problem of the roof itself, which I haven't done yet because it's Christmas time. I've got to buy Christmas presents, unfortunately not a roof. I was going to go with some twin wall clear stuff for the twin reasons that A, it looks nice and smart, and that was my wife's one big proviso, that she wanted it not to look cheap and nasty. So twin wall clear stuff makes it look smart, but also means it's nice and light inside for working. However, someone has commented on one of the videos saying that it actually is really loud when it rains, so that could be an issue. So now I'm looking at other materials, potentially the OSB wood board with felt on top to keep the rain off. It's not as long lasting as the plastic, but if it's quieter, might be the thing to do. But anyway, that is the carport. For years people have been saying, why don't I build a carport there? And it's always just been a matter of the money. It's very expensive. Just the timber and fixings was over £300, which may not sound like a lot of money, but it is a lot of money. And then the roofing itself is going to be double that again if I go for the twin wall. The OSB and felt might be a bit cheaper, but yeah, it's a good few £100s to splurge out to do, which is the main reason I didn't do it initially. Then COVID happened and the price of building materials more than doubled during that period. So at one point it was going to be £800 or so just for the timber alone, so the whole thing was on hold for a long time. But now it's done. I think the impetus really was the fact that the P6 came back, which wants its garage back. That means the W123's got to come back outside again, and I didn't want the W123 sitting out in the rain. Question is, really, what am I going to do at the back end? Because I really want to keep the back end open so that I can have that lovely view behind us. But it'd be far more beneficial in terms of a carport to seal it in, although just talking to a builder neighbour, what we ought to do is the alternate slat method of wall, because then the wind, because there's a lot of wind here, can pass through that and not collect and blow the roof off, which could potentially be an issue. Right, there you go. Quick tea bake, 5 minutes on this, how we did it. Obviously you know why I did it, but it's here, so I just need to collect a few £100 and put a roof on that. So then, happy Christmas to me, I suppose you could say. And if you want to help get the roof to happen a little bit quicker, then please head over to the Furious Driving store. You can grab yourself a mug or a hat or anything else like that at all, or maybe consider becoming a Patreon or a channel member, because that kind of stuff really does help make this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff and that kind of stuff happen so much quicker. Right, thank you for watching, I appreciate your time. Thanks for sticking by, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.